first position, we have the mask. The mask position is all about why we're here. So this is kind of the question that's coming up to be unmasked at this time. So it's the faucet of the mask per se, because usually there's something underneath it that's driving these questions. And I apologize, the air is probably going to kick on and off, which might create a little bit background noise, and I apologize for that. So in this position, we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is all about our values and beliefs in our core systems. So what tells me is there might be something, and I think we had this come up in another reading, which is possible because everything usually comes down to being something that is something we believe, something we've learned, a way of doing things, the way we do things in the world, that's what our values and beliefs are. It's the epitome of who we are and how we walk in the world. It all comes down to when we're faced with a situation, it's our values and beliefs, what we subscribe to, that makes us react in the way that we do. So it's not surprising that the Hierophant would come out in that position. So as the second position that we have is, this is the mirror position. The mirror position is about what externally might be influencing us at this time. It's usually the lesson that we're trying to learn. And I say lesson lightly because it doesn't mean that there's something that actually you need to learn. It's just kind of being that reflection. That's why I call it the mirror. The external world is reflecting something back to us that we need to be aware of. I think that's a better way of putting it. It's something we need to be aware of at this time, and externally we're being shown that. With this position, we have the Six of Swords coming out. So the Six of Swords is what is being reflected to us, which that can be moving on to calmer waters. It can be overcoming a challenge. It can be or a conflict, or moving away from a conflict, or trying to, find, it can be a card of conflict resolution, of trying to basically solve a problem or move away from a problem. So we are going to need to get a clarification card on that one. I'd like to clarify it just a little bit deeper. Can I have a clarification card on this Six of Swords, please? Give me a clarification for what is being mirrored to us at this time. So we have the Knight of Shells. I don't know if shells is water in this deck. I don't know if it tells me that or not. I probably should have looked at that because I was confused on this before. Let's see. The suits. Okay, let's see. So acorns is wands, feathers, I'm going to guess is air. Yes. Shells is water. Yes. Okay. That's what I figured it was. I just wanted to make sure so I didn't speak incorrectly or interpret this incorrectly. So with this being the Knight of Shells, which is water or cups, this says charm and passion. And we have a flamingo on this card. So what I'm picking up is, again, there's two cards of water here. We have, even though this is a card of swords, we also have that with the Knight of Cups. And I'm going to tell you, interesting enough, in another position, we have the Knight of Cups that's in the emotional position. So this is telling me that there might be something at this time externally that is really weighing on you emotionally. And with it being the Knight of Cups, it might be that you're wanting to, knights are usually messengers. There's usually a message that needs to be conveyed. I almost feel like when we talk about the Six of Swords and it being about moving on to calmer waters, and then we have this knight that says like charm and passion. Maybe someone tried to apologize and you didn't take that apology, or maybe you felt someone's apology wasn't sincere and you moved away from that, or how does that work with our morals and beliefs? How does that fit with our values and morals, or our beliefs, our Hierophant energy, the Hierophant energy, our inner wisdom, our values, our traditions, our beliefs? Maybe somebody posed something to you in a way, or maybe externally, we're challenged at this time of finding people that have the same values and beliefs as we do. That could be it. So we have the Seven of Cups, choice, ambitions. So yeah, I feel like maybe at this time, what's being uncovered or unraveled here is a message of maybe trying to move away from things that don't align with your morals and values, and move toward people, places, and things that are more aligned. Maybe something has shifted within you recently that's making you realize where you're at is maybe you're starting to see that you're no longer, maybe you've grown in some way and you're no longer vibing with the people around you, that you've outgrown your current environment, and so you're feeling that difference, you're feeling that separation, or feeling that you don't belong or fit in the current environment that you're in. I think that's kind of where we're going here. Let's go ahead and go into the third position. The third position is the flame position. The flame position is all about what internally is driving us to look at this at this time. So we have the Emperor card coming out. The Emperor is all about taking action. I mean, he is the epitome of taking action, and because when we talk, this is the divine masculine energy, and the divine masculine energy is the doer. It's somebody, masculine energy is about doing things, taking action. Actually, it's very active energy, versus divine feminine is very passive. So when we're looking at active energy and taking action, and that's what's driving us internally to do something different, I really feel like, again, it's almost bringing me back to the story of the clarification we got on the Six of Swords, that maybe when it comes to this reading, and the point of this reading is about, people or someone, you the reader, might be feeling like you've outgrown a place that maybe a city or a friend group, or even a potential, romantic partner or something like that, or a job. You've outgrown something and you feel like it no longer fits to who you are now. You've grown in some way, you've changed in some way, and it's just, or you're seeing things in a different way than you ever did before. And there's now, because there's a difference between you and whatever else around you, that you're realizing you need to do something differently, go in a different direction, go someplace. You may need to move. You may, you may be contemplating some kind of moving away. I'm getting that very, very strongly, as this moving away from things that don't mesh with you any longer, that you've outgrown. So there's a need to maybe move locations, move jobs, move, some kind of transition there, some kind of movement. So interesting enough, in the fourth position, which is our boundary position, our boundary position is all about saying no to things, no thank you, because something has been draining us, something has been, taking away our livelihood, or discouraging or distracting us, discouraging us, something where it's something that is taking our energy away, or diverting or distracting our energy away from what's really important. So in this position, interesting enough, we have the Tower coming out and the Page of Wands. I believe that's the page. Yes, the Page of Wands coming out. So I thought this was a really interesting combination. So we have the Page of Wands, which is all about curiosity. And with the Tower, I almost get like this curiosity killed the cat syndrome. I'm not sure why this is coming out in the boundary position. So we're going to have to clarify that a little bit more to see what the intention is behind this. So can you clarify this Page of Wands and the Tower, or why this is significant for our boundary? What should we be saying no to when it comes to this Page of Wands and the Tower? So we have, I'm going to go ahead and get one more card. We have the Ace of Pentacles with the Ten of Cups. Okay. So again, we have cups. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So it's new beginnings, but there's like, okay, so that makes a little more sense. So this makes a lot more sense actually. So with the Tower and the Page of Wands being showing up in this boundary position, and then it's being clarified by the Ten of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles here. This is telling me Ace of Pentacles is all about new beginnings. So this is about, and I talked about, I feel like this is for somebody that has maybe outgrown something and looking and going in a new direction in some way. Ace of Pentacles is all about new beginnings. It's about stable new beginnings. But we have the Tower showing up there on top of it or with it, and so with this being the Ten of Cups is all about like something that we fantasize. It's something that we really want or we long for, but it's not tangible yet. And that's paired with the tangible new beginning of the Ace of Pentacles. So it's something that we're wanting to make a reality that we haven't. And so maybe what we have to do here is maybe we're playing with this curiosity energy, that we have to be careful that we're not being a little bit too naive, is what I want to say, too naive about the decisions that we're making or the direction that we're going at this time. If this reading is resonating for you, you might need to be a little bit careful or a little bit cautious about being new, not having all the facts when it comes to maybe a direction that you're going, because maybe you're so eager to get away from the direction or the place you've been because you've outgrown it, that you're not dotting all the I's or crossing all the T's when it comes to this new direction that you might be heading toward. You might be you might jump out of one pan and into another, into one, because I wondered why this is like curiosity killed the cat. And so it's telling me that we have to be careful that what we're moving toward, or what direction, new beginning we're trying to move into, isn't going to hinder us. It's going to be beneficial instead of hindering us. So that's where the boundary is that we have to maybe pause a minute and take a moment to make sure that we are going in the right direction that's for us. Do that introspection. Take a moment to really think about, where you're going and why before you make that leap. So the fifth position that we have is the wave position. The wave position is our emotional truth, or the emotional truth that needs to be felt at this time. This gentleman I'm sorry if that was loud, I just realized I tapped the microphone. The Knight of Cups, this gentleman is holding his hand over his heart, and he's holding his cup, but he's not necessarily exactly extending it as in an offer. He's just kind of holding it there, and his hand's kind of protective over his heart. It's almost like, and he's got this big smile on his face of, like he's the life of the party and he's enjoying himself. So maybe that's what you're doing at this time, or the emotion that needs to be felt, the emotional truth is maybe you need to take a moment to just enjoy where you are now or where you're going toward. You know, the fact that you have grown in some way, the fact that you maybe have outgrown a situation and that you're aware of that it is time for you to move on in some way, or that there's been growth within you in some aspect, or you wouldn't want to move in a different direction. So that really does tell me that, you know, maybe this is with this emotional truth, that this is something that needs to be felt within you, to take that moment to celebrate yourself, to celebrate, you know, the achievement or the accomplishment or the growth that you have achieved in your life that is causing this friction and causing, you know, this need to want to move in a different direction because you've outgrown something, which is beautiful, honestly, I think. So I don't think I need to clarify that. So we'll go ahead and move on to the last position here. The last position is the permission position. This is like essentially the yes, what we're saying yes to. So I like that we have the Six of Cups here. The Six of Cups can be all about nostalgia and reminiscing. So it can be that maybe at this time there is a little bit of sorrow about the fact that we are leaving behind something. It's hard to get away from that. I mean, even if, you know, it's something that has put you in a position that you've been very uncomfortable for a while, that still there's that familiarity of the fact that it was part of your life. So there is always that little bit of grief or sadness around leaving something and departing from something that we've known, something that has been familiar to us for a while. So there is always going to be that, you know, kind of nostalgia that comes from moving on. You can't get away from it. So it doesn't surprise me that this would come up in our final position, our permission position, because this is telling me that it's okay to tell you that it's okay to feel this nostalgia. It's okay, and that maybe it's okay to feel it and to, you know, feel those feelings of, you know, sorrow and grief around the fact that you're moving on from someone, you know, maybe a group of people or a job or whatever, because you are going to leave something behind. But we need to feel those feelings. You know, it's okay to feel that. And I think it's giving yourself the permission to say it's okay to grieve that loss, because it is a loss. Even though, you know you're moving in a direction that's better for you, you still have that connection, and it's okay to grieve that. I don't feel like there's anything that I'm sorry, I moved the entire table to reach that. I wanted to grab this message of the Cosmic Oracle cards, because I don't feel that final card needed any clarification, but I think I want to pull one of these Oracle cards and see if anything comes out that adds or lends to the value of the end of this reading. So I do want to take this time to say thank you for joining me. I do also want to let you know that in the description of this video, I have written a book. It's called We Are Not What We've Been Taught. So if something like this is the work you want to, if you want to uncover more about maybe the different masks that you wear in the world, or the different ways you may look or cope with things, look at things or cope with things, if you want to try and see things from a different perspective, so you can do that self-evaluation process, or to have that introspection go within to really reveal and uncover the things about yourself, to really learn who you are fundamentally. You can, that link to that book is in the description. It's also on my channel, in my description for my channel. So it's two places that you can find that if you're interested in it. It is there. So it just goes into more depth and asks more questions than we can in a short little video reading. So we have life can be hard and life can be wonderful. Which will you focus on? I kind of like this coming out as the final message, because we did have this, like the Six of Swords is about moving on from something, and then we have the Six of Cups here, and so we have these sixes, and it is after change. It's kind of like a small rebuilding after change has occurred. And so it can be, I like that this is coming out, that it can be hard and it can be beautiful at the same time, because it is hard when we leave something and move on, but it is also beautiful and wonderful at the same time when we're moving towards something that's better. And we know that we're moving towards something that is better for us, because there's that excitement that comes with that. So I do love that very much. And it asks, which will you focus on? And I get with, even though it's saying it's okay, it may be okay to feel the grief of saying goodbye to something. We don't want to get stuck in that to where it pulls us back and keeps us small, where it keeps us from moving forward. So we have to be careful what we focus on. So I do kind of like that it kind of mentions that at the end, that we have to be careful that we don't get lost in nostalgia, so much so, especially with it being Mercury retrograde, because that's all about revisiting things from the past. And sometimes, if we can let the past pull us back in, and we have to be cognizant of that we're not letting something keep us stuck when we're meant to move forward. So that's something that's really important to understand. So I think that's where I'm going to leave this reading. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you found I hope there's at least one little message or tidbit of wisdom that you got out of this message that might help you in some way. Thank you so much. I wish you the best. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.